So the markets are seeing a little bit of green right now, guys. It is the end of the week. It is Sunday right now, 10:40 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have some key events happening moving into tomorrow, and also it is a holiday moving into Friday with the 4th of July. So guys, there is a lot of busy sentiment right now. Sentiment around Bitcoin has mixed perspectives based off of exactly what is happening. Some people believe we could be deviating. Others believe we could be ripping up. So I want to give you guys a full update on exactly what everyone is saying moving into tomorrow whenever we see the markets open up. But if you're new to my channel, go and check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. Like how I said, guys, we have some key events happening this week. We also have different perspectives around the price action with Bitcoin, and this is going to be letting us know if Ethereum and altcoins are also going to be rallying or dumping. So with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump into exactly what is going on. So guys, like how I said, we have been seeing some green in the markets in the past like 4 to 6 hours. You can see Bitcoin has reclaimed that 108,000 zone, sitting at around 108.5. And then right there, you can see that Ethereum has finally reclaimed that 2,500 region, which is quite bullish. Altcoins are just following the price action. So this is pretty much just showing that we see a little bit of recovery, but at the end of the day, it is still chopping sideways, seeing deviations for the long term. You can also see that Bitcoin dominance has been stealing the show and has overall been stealing all of the liquidity in the market. And a lot of people have been anticipating that this percentage zone for Bitcoin dominance could more than likely rally all the way upwards to that 70% zone, even higher, upwards to 80%. Moving into USDT dominance, this shows that everyone is slowly getting back out of stable coins and reallocating into Bitcoin right now, and even also a little bit into altcoins and Ethereum. But like how I said, guys, we have some key events happening this week. It's going to be a short week because on Friday we have the 4th of July and the US markets are going to be closed. But moving into the first event that is going to be happening on Tuesday, we have actually 3 events that are going to be happening on Tuesday. We have Jerome Powell is going to be speaking, talking about exactly the data that's coming out around the GDP data, jobless reports, all these other different things, and pretty much his perspective, rate cuts, and what the Fed is thinking. 2, we're going to be jumping into the June ISM manufacturing PMI data, more data, guys, around the US economy, different pretty much sectors and stuff like that. 3, May JOLTS job openings also on Tuesday, guys, more important data. And then this moves into the June ADP non-farm employment data. This is also going to be super employment. This is going to be super important just based off of exactly what is anticipated, and then exactly what is actually being shown. And then 5 is going to be moving into Thursday, which is the June's jobs report, and this is where we're going to really be anticipating if we're looking healthy for what's going on with jobs in the United States, or if everything's going to be looking not as bullish. And this is going to move into Friday whenever we have the 4th of July. So we have a quite busy week ahead of us, and I expect volatility, and you should as well. We also just saw an update in the last 5 minutes, which is a reason why I think the markets are already pumping. It says Canada is removing its digital service tax on tech companies to restart trade talks with the US. We talked about it in the video I dropped earlier today, guys, where how Trump said that he dumped all trade talks with Canada, how he was done negotiating with them. But I think that they kind of came back to the table and said, hey, we need to renegotiate, and as a result they're already pulling back on one of the things that they were pushing on the US. So this comes just days after President Trump canceled trade talks with Canada due to this tax. So this is quite bullish. I think this is why everyone is also starting to reallocate and feel a little bit more bullish in terms of the sentiment, and that's why we're seeing a little bit of green. But moving into tomorrow, we'll know exactly if we have more data around this or more updates. Moving into different perspectives around Bitcoin, Merlin the Trader, we talked about this earlier in the day, how he believes that we're on the final Bitcoin pump and it's about to come. He says retail will chase, market makers will unload, take profits before they take yours. This is the exit zone, and he shows the market maker profile, the buy model, and pretty much whenever we see sideways price action, a few jumps up, and then from there the profit zone. And this is where you got to understand what that timeline looks like, and on this channel I'm gonna keep you guys updated with all that information. If we look into the different perspectives, more jumping into TA analysis, psychological standpoints and breakdowns with Bitcoin, and previous zones, imbalances, and where we could be going based off of this breakout and bull flag pattern that Dr. Profit is talking about. This was a really great perspective in terms of where we could be headed. I wanted to give you guys pretty much the whole sum of everything. If you want to go read this in depth, you can, because he gives a few different options in terms of what could be happening. And I think it is great to have different perspectives in terms of potentially deviating or ripping up quite exponentially. But in conclusion, with what he believes is going to be happening with Bitcoin, he says Bitcoin will continue its strongward uptrend in the coming months, very likely reaching 120,000 to 150,000. Short term, there are multiple possible paths to get there. One option, Bitcoin continues to pump from here straight to 120 to 150K, but I don't consider this a healthy scenario for the market. It lacks structure, shakeout, and proper consolidation, which is super true, guys. We can't just see a huge rip up. If we do, there's going to be massive imbalances, and as a result, liquidity is going to be pulled back into those zones, and that's not healthy for the market, especially for altcoins and more assets. But jumping more into it, he says the more likely option, market makers allow a dip into the 93 to 90K range, where Bitcoin can hit the bottom of the bull flag, fill the CME gap, and sweep the liquidity in that zone. And this is pretty much where he has these arrows and exactly the imbalances that we're currently seeing. And then from there he says this would reset leverage, shake out weekends, and provide the perfect springboard for a powerful move higher. There's too much alignment in that region for it to be ignored. That's why I placed multiple spot and long orders between 93 and 90K. If the market offers the dip, I'll take it with full conviction. I remain fully bullish and expect upside to escalate massively in the months ahead. No other group gives better, more detailed, stronger market advice, and he goes into his perspective around that. But overall, guys, this is where I think people have different perspectives on where we could be headed. People believe that we need to be consolidating a little bit more, hitting those imbalance zones to see a healthy recovery and move upwards rather than just completely ripping up. But at the end of the day, the market doesn't care about that. It cares about actual liquidity, the news events, and exactly how buyers feel. Now jumping into it, Crypto Intelligence X talks about how he believes that we could be seeing a dump, because after a Sunday pump and exactly what we're currently seeing, he believes that moving into Monday we could be seeing a retracement. Bitcoin is approaching a supply trend line on the daily time frame. We talked about this earlier today, guys, as well. So he says let's see if the bulls can defeat the trend line, but right now it's not looking quite bullish based off of exactly what is happening. But at the end of the day, we could be seeing a huge rip up through that. But expect volatility, guys. And then Benjamin Cohen gave a great post talking about exactly why altcoin season has not happened. I talked about this multiple times on my channel as well. And this is where you can understand this by reading the Bitcoin dominance chart and the total 3 chart, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins as well, guys. And in terms of altcoins are seeing some green on the 24-hour and the 7-day, like I said, with what's happening right now. But is this going to keep on going? I honestly am not too confident in it. I could see that we see a little bit more deviations before the huge rip up, but at the end of the day, I'll be happy if I'm wrong and my bag starts to shoot up and move into Valhalla. But overall, swiping everything to the side, guys, that is currently what is happening. The crypto markets are trading sideways. We have some big events happening this week. We have different sentiment in terms of what's going to be happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but right now everything is looking quite bullish. I think smart money knows the updates that are happening with the trade deals between Canada and the US, and if we see more positive news events with that come out, especially with the ceasefire with Iran and Israel and all these other things with tariffs and negotiations, then this is going to be even more bullish for buyer sentiment and overall investor sentiment. So overall, you need to be keeping up to date with all of this information, and I'm going to keep you guys updated with everything that comes out when it happens. So if you're new to my channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. Keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and exactly what you need to be aware of. But overall, guys, I'm pretty much expecting a lot of crazy stuff this week. Be prepared for it. Do not capitulate your bags. Dollar cost average, keep up with all these events. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions, drop it down in the comment section. I drop day-to-day content every single day. It's almost 11 o'clock at night today, and I still need to edit this and post it. So overall, drop me a comment, like, subscribe, and just stay tuned, guys, so you're up to date with all the info. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.